today because I don't know about you guys, but I've been having a lot of fun of the various types of experts and what I call business veterans, which I've been very strategic with that, coming on all this week. And so today is the very last day of this amazing success series. I want to thank those of you guys who've been here throughout the whole week, who've come in on the replays, who are sending me personal messages, all these great things of all the different things that they learned. And so I just want to say it's a bittersweet day for me, for you all. But don't worry, I'm definitely doing this again. And so I just look forward to the future one. But first, before we even get into that, we got to talk about our guests that we have coming up this morning. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern here. So wherever you are in the world, it's morning time here for us on a Friday. And so first things first, the woman that I am introducing you guys today, I'm just a huge fan of her. I mean, we met at a conference locally here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I just was immediately, I guess you could say, entranced by her presence because she also spoke on that stage as well. And I just love the fact that she knew her stuff when it came to building communities. And without taking too much from her for introducing her self, I just love the fact that she knew how to build communities, knew how important it was, and how she literally can do it both online and offline. You know, there's so many people out there who are like, oh yeah, I'm a community manager expert, or, you know, I build online, you know, all of these communities, and honestly, in my opinion, I don't feel that they're legit. Well, who I'm introducing to you today is definitely legit. And also, I can't wait to tap into her story of her amazing coffee company called Perky Perky. I just love the name. But anyway, without further ado, let's bring on our guest, Maruxa Murphy. Welcome, Maruxa.
Hi, Monique. It's so good to see you. Hello, everyone. Nice to see everyone. Cheers. It's morning here, as you mentioned, so I'm having my cup of coffee.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Thank you so much for coming on this morning, seriously. And can you just let everyone know, because I probably butchered your whole like introduction, but let everyone know who don't know who you are. Who is Maruxa? And then also let's talk about Perky Perky for a little bit.
Sure. Sounds great. My name is Maruxa Murphy. Perky Perky is one of, I think this is my fifth venture. My first two totally bombed, failed. Like, we don't even talk about that. It's one of those like, oh, those are sweet. But then in 2009, I actually began a company called Telesummit Events, and basically it was with a friend of ours, David Fry, he's a veteran in the industry of online marketing, and my dear husband, Dennis Murphy, and we culminated our strengths and our skill sets together, and we created this company called Telesummit Events. And we created Monique, literally over 22 events together. Telesummits. And
Wow.
This was back in the day before telesummits were a thing.
Okay.
So we would grow lists, for anywhere from 2,000 if it was a very niche topic to 250,000 people, and took that company to about 2.5 million in 2.5 years. So that was a lot of fun. It was kind of like, okay, so those failures really helped us like learn what not to do to then grow this third venture. And eventually that David, Dennis, and I split because we had 22 summits already built out, and we were running traffic to them and all these things. That I ended up working with other best-selling authors, speakers, and trainers to help grow their platforms with the same summit model, and did that until about 2015. And had a blast doing it. See the power, as you mentioned, of growing an audience online, growing an audience and a community online. But really, we were doing it primarily through pre-recorded stuff, right? Pre-recorded video and things like that. So I think that's important to note because, I mean, girl, you've taught me so much about the power of live. And so anyway, so we did that. Sold that in 2015, ended up running a business incubator for 2.5 years, and it was an e-commerce incubator with Ryan Moran, and I was the purveyor of the community. I was like the bringer together of all the peoples in the tribe, and it was a lot of fun. But my clients were the ones that sparked this idea. What if you created your own coffee company? I had another group that I had created as a mom of 3, when I lived in Austin, Texas, called the Austin Moms Network. Well, that group, it was a Facebook group, and it grew from just this idea that my friend Sarah and I had in a conversation we had with another mom in town to now over 17,000 women large.
Wow.
And we weren't monetizing at all. And so we were like, well, so my whole point is like my clients were like challenging me, like, what would it look like if you obviously love that community, you obviously have a passion for moms. What would it look like to actually monetize that and possibly have like an e-commerce brand that would speak that same language to these individuals? So I started thinking about it, and it really led me to this idea of like, this is such a challenge because I'm used to being online only, right? Building communities offline just for fun. But like, how can you bring both a physical product in with a community and also then build relationships around the globe around a specific thing that everyone's passionate about? Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, most definitely. And
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. I remember when you were talking at the time when we met. I think you were still working with the incubator at the time.
Oh,
You were in Austin at the time. Now you're in Florida.
yeah.
So a lot has changed, girl, in the past. It's just amazing how a lot can change in the past 2 years.
Yes.
And again, guys, those of you guys who are watching this live or on the replay, like, I'm being strategic as to who I'm bringing on. Maruxa has been in this space for a very long time. I didn't even know that part about the telesummits and all that. So yeah, girl, you know your stuff. And I mean, I already knew that ahead of time, but this just validates
Yeah.
what I was thinking. And so I love the fact that you shared how, you got started. And I really liked the idea of the challenge for Perky Perky, as
Mm.
far as, like you said, yeah, I know what I'm doing when it comes to building communities online. I do offline for fun, but let's really get serious. Can I make it work for
Yeah.
myself? So with
Exactly.
that said, can you be well, I kind of want to just jump into it, but I'm not. Let me
Yeah.
let me back up for a second. With that said, based on your experience with the telesummits, building online communities and things like that, why should a business utilize the medium of video?
Oh my gosh. Well, honestly, for me, video has been the number one way I've been building the know, like, and trust factor. I was using, and quite honestly, that's Nicole Dean, who's a colleague of the two of us. She and I met because I created a little selfie video back in 2009 to letting her know how much I adore her work and can she be on a telesummit,
Oh,
right? I was
yeah.
using video back then, but I wasn't being strategic about it. I
Okay.
wasn't necessarily being like, I was just using it because I knew, hey, we're virtual, so how would she actually get to know the person that I am? So now, I mean, that's 2009, that was like 11 years ago. Now, come 11 years in this process of video, what I'm recognizing is that video is the key. How do you separate yourself from everybody else out there? How do you begin to differentiate your quirkiness from someone else's who says they sell the same thing that you do? You just can't. If you can a little bit in written word and maybe through your graphics and things. But when people actually get to see your ways of doing the things, I always say, Marsha, you make so many facial expressions. Sounds like I do. I mean, I don't even know, right? But like because of video, they have this other part of me that kind of sometimes is unbeknownst to myself, but really allows me to make that connection that I wouldn't have otherwise. And so, quite honestly, it has been the number one thing over the years that has been truly successful. I think what's made and as I've shared your praises with so many since you've taught me so much about Facebook Live and how to utilize it. But one of the things that I really have gained from our work together is recognizing how the power of connection, right? I knew it again, like I said, I knew it in terms of like building a Facebook group, yay. I knew it in terms of building, like I have like potlucks, like, kind of memorable potlucks at my house, once a month. People know they know my way of doing the things, but there's nothing more powerful than having someone see you virtually, probably in another part of the world, typically in another part of the world, unless you're a local person. And they feel connected to you. They feel like they know you. They feel like, oh my gosh, you have given me value that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And thank you for coming into my home and being on video with me and answering my question, right? It's it's literally changed my business in many, many ways. And so for those who are watching who are business owners are like, I'm nervous. I think it's just one of those things where you just keep going for it and you keep asking yourself, can I, how can I do today more? The question I always ask myself is, how can I do today more powerfully? And sometimes it's getting in front of a camera and just smiling, and sometimes it's, even if I don't have anything to say, I've actually been doing these things called Ask Me Anythings. And I literally have nothing to say, but people will come on and ask me things, so therefore I have content. And that's become it's been part of the brand and how we've built our Perky Perky coffee line, is just simply through creating so much video content that people want to believe and see themselves in either some of my stories or have learned a lot from me and my passion for coffee.
Thank you so much for sharing that. No, I love how, and that's the thing about you when I first met you. I love the fact that you utilize, or you really take seriously the power of connection. Yeah. Hence, I'm assuming that's why you're so great on building communities. And my next question that I have for you is, how you kind of given us an idea, and a part of me wants to be selfish and be like, you need to tell them how Perky Perky got launched, but how can you share with us examples specifically on how you utilize a video in any part of your previous businesses or even currently with Perky Perky?
Sure. I'll give a couple different examples. I'll start with the Austin Moms Network, which is the network that I mentioned, and this is super important, I think, because it led to helping me create Perky and land Perky where it is, I believe, because it's a very similar community. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I would do, so, obviously a lot of people have Facebook groups, and in the Facebook groups, they'll, say, hey, everyone, welcome to the group. Hey, get to know we want to get to know you. Tell us a little bit about you, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, great. Everyone does that. I'll do that too. But what I wanted to do instead was to come back to the community, especially when it was so small and new and lovely, and create videos for the new members. So I would actually do a personalized video. So if you join the group, Monique, right, it'd be like, Monique, freaking amazing. I went on your website, on your profile, and here's what I loved about you. And oh my gosh, you just got married. That's huge. And I would just have a conversation with you. And I would do this every single day while I was just launching that group. Every day I would create these videos and then I would post them. And they were like, what? Who is this girl? Who is this person? Why? So it started to build that relationship. And then I would do this thing called Tuesday Truths. So every single Tuesday I would get on, and it was before Facebook had live, but I would get on and I would do a Facebook video, a video for Facebook for the group. And I would get on, sometimes my hair was like sopping wet, literally getting out of the shower and just having reflections, shower reflections about the day or whatever. And I would get on and I'd share something about me and the kids and myself and how we're, what did I learn from them today? Or they're making me crazy. Like, what did I learn from that? But it was always coming back to the self and teaching women how to connect back to self, right? And so next thing I knew, over a year of doing that, I had 52 videos of these, Tuesday Truths, and like thousands of these like individual videos that I would create. And what happened was that I would go around the city of Austin, and literally people would be like, oh my God, you're Maruxa, I know you. And it was these videos, and I'd be like, oh my gosh. And the one that was the sweetest, but it also took me aback a minute because I didn't realize like the power of my voice. I didn't realize the power of my presence. Mm-hmm. There was a woman who, we were at a coffee shop. I was at a coffee shop, I was ordering coffee, and this woman who was pregnant was a couple of people ahead of me, and she did like a double take and saw me, and she goes, oh my gosh, you're Maruxa Murphy. And I was like, I am. And she's like, I have to let you know, this pregnancy has been so hard, but I can't tell you how those Tuesday Truths have held me together. And she just put my hands on her belly, and I was like, whoa, I'm doing something that's actually impacting
right
more than me, And for her, it was a pregnancy. It was a surprise pregnancy. She had no idea this was about to happen. Husband just lost a job, all these things. were showing up in her life. And the one thing she was so excited and looking forward to every single week were these Tuesday truths, because I would help ground her back to truth, and a truth that stems from within herself, right? And holy cow,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Oh my
So
goodness. And it is so interesting. Every single person I've had on this success series, every single one of you have a similar story of how when you started with video, it would you had a collection of it. So, for instance, someone said they've done over 200 videos, or someone said 50 or something, or a number close to you.
yeah,
And it was then where it kind of like the light bulb went off for each and every single one of you to realize, huh, this is something that, number one, cannot be ignored. Number two, people are being impacted in some shape or form because they're either reaching out to me, or like in your case, they're seeing you in person, which to me is even much bigger than anything else versus someone, hitting you up personal messenger, or, emailing you.
yeah,
But it's like each and every one of you, and even myself included, it's like that's the light bulb moment that, wow, this is something bigger than ourselves.
yes,
Initially, it was just something where we were trying out, we were very insecure, self-conscious, something, and we just kept at it. And I really love the fact that you had like a theme, Tuesday Truths. I mean, the alliteration, all of that there from a branding perspective, I'm like, yeah, I like that.
yeah.
And
Thank
so,
you.
yeah, that's very, very interesting that each and every one of us has that kind of like initial origin story when it comes to video.
Well, and I think it's probably because I think we all, at some level, I can only speak for myself, but
Sure.
I've heard this from other entrepreneurs, that so many of us feel like we're imposters,
Mm.
right? Like we're doing the thing that it feels like especially if we're doing something that's soul filled, we sometimes feel like, wait, I'm saying this, but man, I'm catching myself doing this or whatever, right? And I think at least that's for me, right? And I can't speak for everyone else, but when you realize like the work that you're doing, I always say this, being a business owner is like getting a PhD in your own personal development.
Oh, yes.
No, it's so hard. I hit some serious walls in this first 2 weeks of January already. I'm like, girl,
Right.
what is this you're going to bring? All right, this is good. But what I'm sharing about that is why I wanted to share that is because we have to have those moments. You have to just create that consistency in the doing to get to that place where you notice that, right? You notice that you're not just speaking into in my case, a green little light of a camera, and you're actually making an impact on people's lives when you choose to be brave daily, when you choose to take that courage and say, you know what, I'm going to get over my fear or my doubt that this is going to work and just go for it anyway. It's really, truly powerful. And it's really what led to helping me grow Perky Perky. I mean, so, I
Yes,
shared
please
that
share that
story.
story if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Basically, so we grew that group. The group at that time, before I launched Perky, was around, at that point, maybe 5,000 to 7,000 people. So it wasn't the 17,000 yet. And, like I said, I was doing those consistent videos. But on my so a lot of them ended up following me personally. Like they would follow me on my Facebook page instead of just stay on the Facebook group, right? And what I ended up doing is, I was working full time, raising my 3 kids, and my clients, gave me this double dog dare. They were like, "We double dog dare you to actually create a company, an e-commerce company. Like we dare you, we double dog dare you." And I was like, "You just do not do this to this Maruxa." Like that is yeah, it's just one of those things. I think I got stuck somewhere in childhood or something. I don't know, whatever. But I love a double dog dare. So they came to me and they were like, we invite you to do this, and you should do this. So I really thought about it, and I spent a good 9 months researching how I wanted to launch to my own e-commerce brand and what my messaging was, and et cetera. And so by the time this was now 2016, August of 2016, I made the decision, okay, I'm going to actually go for it. I started meeting with roasters and things like that. Well, I created a video that I posted on Facebook, and the video was me walking around the building, the building of where my full-time job was at the time. And it was really just coming from a place of feeling inspired by an initial meeting that I had with a roaster that we were potentially going to hire. So I was in this place, and I was like, you know what? I think it's time to tell the world. But you know what, Monique? I literally came to that camera not really thinking I was actually going to post it at all.
Okay.
Like I just was like wanting to. I'm an extrovert, so I wanted to extrovert my thoughts, and I put it on camera. And I'm, sharing from my heart. Like, here I am. I have no idea if this is going to be successful. I have no idea if it's going to fail. But if I don't try, I'll always wonder. And so, do you guys want to follow? Basically, the call to action was, do you want to follow this journey? If so, just in the comments say you want to follow the journey, but I wasn't going to post it. It was just kind of like I'm sure we've all created videos like that, right? You just, like, I don't know if I want to post it. So, but my friend Barbara saw me from the office, and she goes, I saw what you were doing out there. And I was like, what? She goes, post it. I was like, I have no makeup on. She goes, and? She's like, you've made videos with wet hair. and you're talking, just go post the video. So she double dog dared me again, and I posted the video. And before we knew it, we had, I think, like over 5,000 views of the video. People were sharing it. They were like, we want to watch this. We want to follow your process. And basically that really spurred a series of many videos from August through January, when we actually launched our first bag of coffee, first roast. Our community got really engaged in helping me create the logo, helping me name the coffee roasts that we were launching. Just all of it. It was incredible. So by the time we launched in January of 2017, we sold 1,000 bags that first month.
Nice.
It was great.
I mean, okay, let's think about it. Those guys are watching. I mean, this is the coffee space. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like there's the big brands, there's the Folgers. I mean, and then there's Starbucks. There's a lot of saturation, is what I'm trying to say. And it's like someone who literally coming out of nowhere decides to create this company and launch this company's brand, and it's catering specifically to women, and I would label your brand as like a boutique type of feel and things besides the big brands out there. And it's like, how dare you decide to be so audacious to launch something like this, but using specific tools to your advantage to make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, goodness, some of my closest people were like, that is the dumbest idea you've ever had. Literally, like soul crushing. Okay.
I don't mean to laugh, but I get it.
Yeah. Well, and actually this is one of our first mugs. I have Perky Perky mugs. This one says she believed she could, so she did. And this quote has like led me many, many miles through so many valleys and so many mountains. And through those times when people were like, no way, there's just no way. But here's what I found. It's like because of using video, people could see the passion, they could feel the energy around that. And then secondarily, by inviting them to join in the process, they have ownership of it. They wouldn't have had that if I didn't use video. You know what I mean? Like it's harder to create that connection. And so video for me, honestly, it was my secret sauce.
Yeah.
It is my secret sauce. It is still my secret sauce. It will always be my secret sauce.
Sure.
Because I get to live wherever I want to live. Like we're moving to Orlando. We're in South Florida. We're moving to Orlando. It doesn't matter where I live. I get to be wherever I want to be, but still make connections and build awesome relationships. And we're in the middle of great conversations with hotel chains now to get our coffee in there. And just all these, we were at the United Nations in November.
Right. And then you had Facebook, like Zucky wants you in his office. Hello.
Yeah. So Facebook invited us to host with the Austin Moms Network and Perky Perky, like the first block party ever. They wanted to try to find ways to build community offline as well. So they invited like, hey, why don't we partner together and create an offline block party for Mother's Day? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. There's so many cool things when you allow yourself to just get out of the way, get out of your fear, get out of your whatever the story is in your mind about how you're going to look on video or how you're going to sound on video or all that stuff. And you just go.
Yes.
People are going to resonate with that. And they're going to see your quirks and they're going to love it because that's you.
Exactly. And what I want to bring to all's attention, and Maruja, please chime in. Like, all she used was this, guys. Like, there was
That's it.
no fancy production. She has this amazing brand that's getting national and global recognition now, and she's utilizing this. And in fact, if you don't mind sharing just a tidbit, like the most recent social media campaign where you invited different women to come on, and I think it was around Global Entrepreneurship Week or something.
Yeah.
I could be butchering this, but I
Yeah.
love the fact that you had people post something with a slogan or something like that of what they stood for, but utilizing that to help with, got you some recognition. I think you even said that, I don't know if you got on the radar for UN or other brands, but just that alone, and all you're utilizing, everyone, they were just using their phones. There was no fancy production or anything. So for those who feel like that's what is needed, Maruja is a testimony right there. And if you don't mind chiming in, just sharing like why you didn't necessarily feel the need to have like this fancy production.
You know what, Monique, I so appreciate that question. I think the reason I feel like I don't need to we have amazing tools at our fingertips already. That's a given. But even more so, my heart, and feel like part of my sole purpose is to help the everyday person realize they have massive potential to create change in the world. And we are able to, in this day and age, to create whatever it is that we want, literally, right? I have a huge passion for helping people create their own economies and building out their voice and stepping into their power. And literally in the small little palm-sized phone of yours, you can do that. You can use that as a tool to get that voice out there and to find incredible partnerships. I mean, you and I, we live states, well, we did live states away. We live just a state away now. But, with it, even that, like, we get to be on video right now because we continue to build that relationship over the years. And that's to me, that is so powerful. So, like, I highly believe that our world is so much better off for technology. Yeah. It's now our opportunity to say yes to it, and use it for good, and continue to use it to really raise one another up, use it to build connections that we just could never have made just even 10 years ago. Literally, telesummits, the reason it's called telesummits is because we were on a telephone.
Right.
Up a phone. We didn't have video, to the capacity. We had remember those flip cameras?
Yeah.
We had
Oh my goodness. I still have it somewhere around here. Yeah.
So I have mine somewhere. I don't know where it is. But yeah, that was when I got super intrigued by, like, what is this flip camera thing,
Right.
But that's what we had back then. Now we have everything available to us. So you're right, that particular campaign, I wanted to do something that helped women see that they can rise, our audience, see other women that I admire, say yes to themselves. And so we did this I Rise Up For campaign. And literally, the instructions were, take a video or take a picture of yourself with a white piece of paper.
Okay.
And it says, I rise up for, and whatever your word is. Mm-hmm. And take it, try to do it in portrait mode.
Right.
If you have that on your phone. And then I can lighten it up with, Lightroom. No big deal.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Everyday people doing incredible things and making an impact.
Ah, yes. And I love how you say you want to help people create their own economies. And because I'm so passionate and strongly believe in video, yes, use this tool to create your own economy. Whether you have a 9-to-5 or not, it's okay if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, but have other revenue streams, other things going, so that, one day when you do decide to say, I'm sick of this job, and I want to dedicate my full-time energy to whatever I created on the side, and be so thankful and grateful that you did that, because you put in the work initially and all of those great things. So, with that said, Maruja, for someone who is watching this, whether it's live or on the replay, who is a newbie, not necessarily in business, but a newbie when it comes to video, and he or she has just watched us and they're like, okay, I think I'm going to do this. But,
Okay.
there's just like this internal fear or something that's keeping them stuck. What piece of advice that you can share with this person to help them get started with video as a newbie?
That's a great question. I think that, so it depends on the type of newbie,
Sure.
right? So if the newbie was like me and it's like a double dog dare type of newbie that would take any dare and go with it, I'd
Yeah.
say I double dog dare you. Just literally get on video, create like even 10 seconds a day. Even if that, I mean, if it's that scary, 10 seconds, no judgment, right? And just do it. You don't have to share it. Just get on the camera. And then you every day you ramp it up a little bit more, maybe the next day 30 seconds, maybe the next day, the day after a minute. And then begin to think about, what it's like when you see someone on video and challenging themselves, and put yourself in the other person's shoes and say, wow, I see them as brave, or I see them as whatever, whatever you like ultimately see them. Invite yourself to feel that about yourself. Like, give yourself some of that love back, because you deserve that too. So for those who are not double dog dares, still like, I don't care if it's a double dog, I don't care if it's a triple dog dare, I don't care. I'm nervous,
Right.
really, really nervous. There's two things I do for getting on camera. And the first thing I do is I like to prepare my content. So and I'm an extrovert, even as an extrovert, right? So I know, for example, I'm going to be going live in a little while for my community.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I'm going to talk about, right? In this particular live, I'm going to have a recipe that we just, posted on Instagram and on our Facebook page. I'm going to share that recipe a little bit more, talk about talk about a challenge that we're going to be creating as a community, in the near future, and I have a couple other things. But I already have set notes, right? Some people will go even deeper if they're not comfortable. If you're a newbie, get like even more bulleted points. Like, what is it that you want to actually say? And the other tip is to look at the camera. I actually used to have my best friend Elizabeth's photo right beside the little light for the webcam,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just have her photo there. So when I spoke to the camera, I felt like I was just speaking to her.
Yes.
That was one of those hacks that I did for years, because I wasn't comfortable. Just by the way, I wasn't comfortable on camera for years.
Sure.
It literally took me like hundreds, maybe thousands of tries, and then finally one day, just like you said, it just kind of clicked. And so give yourself that. It's okay. It's okay to stumble. It's okay. Just you are an incredible being that has a beautiful voice and a beautiful story. Don't let this fear hold you from fully showing up. We want to see the people stumble. We don't want to see them all perfect. It's just, it's not real.
Right.
And so just be yourself and go forward anyway.
I love it. I love it. I love it. In fact, it's so funny. When I first started using video, I would get like a Post-it note and put, a punch hole and pretend
Yeah.
it's SpongeBob and put it around on my phone and stuff. So at least by all means, it would remind me to continue to look at the lens and have the eye contact more so than anything else. That's why I had it there on my phone.
True.
And I love what you shared there. No, that's greatly appreciated. But let's flip the script real quick for our last question. What if it's someone who, has been in business, has tried video, and just hasn't gotten quite the results that he or she are looking for, or maybe they did a little dabbling or whatnot, but they're like, okay, I'm serious now. What is a good piece of advice that you have for those type of individuals?
Cool. That's a great question. So again, it's a two-parter.
Sure.
One is consistency is key. Creating a calendar. So I have a promotional and a content calendar for my company. And so everybody, like I have an assistant, so she and I know what content's going out when. So having that, it's almost like it's putting a date for myself, right? I know that this is going to happen. Nothing else but that is going to happen, and that's really, really powerful for me to create that consistency. The other thing, though, too, is to give yourself the permission to try it, like where everyone's zigging, go zag, right? And I mean, obviously, really master the technology side of it. And that's where you're like freaking brilliant at that. Like you helped me, like I was like, wait, which one do I use? Like, Facebook Live, like the main thing, like all the things, like it was really overwhelming at first when I was really trying to jump in, and
Sure.
those overwhelming technological pieces can kind of stop us from being fully creative in our work. But I have a feeling that the reason you're in this space, in this industry, and you're wanting to do videos because you have something important to say, and maybe the way you're going to say it is very different or slightly different than anyone else, right? But the way in which you become the zag to everyone's zig is to allow yourself to bring that onto camera, right? So, for example, I could be talking about coffee just like a lot of other people would talk about coffee, and most of the people are very, it's a very, especially for premium coffee like we sell, boutique type of coffee. It's a very premium thing and it's a very serious thing.
Sure.
Well, I'm just not that, and whenever I try that, it's so draining.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. So how can you bring more of your personality into it, and then invite your friends to watch like crazy? Say, please, just come for a while
Right.
until my community starts to grow, and then start partnering with other people to
Mm-hmm.
help build that audience for you with you.
I love it. Those great. Every single one of the guests this week, you guys showed up because I didn't even include that in, kind of an idea as to the different types of questions I was going to ask. So thank you so much for sharing that. Seriously. And I'm a huge cheerleader of, what you're doing, Maruja. Like I feel like you are a true testimony, case study, whatever. People, those of you guys who are watching, just watch what she's doing. Be a part of her community and just see how she's really utilizing the power of connection. She's using this amazing medium of video to make it happen primarily, but really look at how she utilizes this tool to be connected. And she's an amazing storyteller. Maruja can, I'm pretty sure you would say that it's a main factor when it comes to building communities is the storytelling. And it's very important when it comes to video as well. And what video does, in my opinion, kind of just opens up the lens and the possibility for your story to be shared. Just from the way that she just talked about how she launched her Perky Perky coffee brand company. She just talked about her story and said, "Hey, if you want to join in on this journey with me." I mean, I thought that was like perfect, and how you executed that. And even though you had no intention of posting it, kudos to your coworker at the time for giving you that push.
Yeah, totally. I always thank her. I call her the sister I never wanted. It's a joke between the two of us. But she's always pushing me, and I'm doing the same back to her. So that's why we're always the sisters we never wanted.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But those of you guys who are watching this live and on the replay, today is bittersweet, but I'm really glad that we ended this series with Maruja, because I made sure to bring in different people from all walks of life. Even a lot of the experts have a lot of online expertise, but also like yesterday we had Danticia, who works with inventions and an inventor and things like that, and her role was primarily offline, and then she had to come on the online space. And then Maruja, I feel like, is the perfect kind of in between because she's done both the online and the offline, and marrying them together. She's walking her truth right now with her company, growing it. I can't wait for you and I to, catch up offline because I'm sure you have some more updates and things like that. So, with that said, guys, I'm really, really excited for having us come to an end of this amazing series and looking forward to the future ones. And it's gonna be even bigger and better, rather. And it was just something that I wanted to test out. And there's no problem with testing out. Maruja has shared that. A lot of people previously have shared out. Just test it, see how you feel, get the hang of things, and then you can just build it into something that's even more powerful. And so, with that said, Maruja, do you have any last words or anything that you would love to share for those who are watching this?
Yeah. Well, number one, thank you for staying on and watching this. This was a lot of stuff, that we both shared today, but also just, give yourself that permission to show up for yourself. We have one life, so go for it. There's no need to dilly dally.
Yeah.
As my kids know, I say all the time,
Uh-huh.
don't dilly dally. Just go. Just go. And you'll, the lessons that you learn along the way were meant for you to learn so that you can continue to show up for yourself. This is your life.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Thank you so much, guys. And stay tuned very soon for the future series of this. And I look forward to seeing you guys very, very soon. Take care.